Hello, my friend. We should recall what we talked about before. The first one, it was the meaning of life equal to enjoying and share. The second one, the human being haven't evolved to a mature stage yet. The third one was killing people in the name of justice is an evil creation of humankind. Now we are going to talk about another finding. Human beings haven't enemies. The so-called enemies are made of misunderstanding. I repeat, human beings have no enemies. The so-called enemies are made of misunderstanding. It will go back to more than 30 years ago. When I was in mainland China, I went to a foreign language school to learn English. There were some foreign teachers came to the school. There was a couple came from America. At that time, I was crazy about learning English. So I also get along with the foreign teachers. At that time, I heard somebody say, if you want to learn culture, you should read the Bible. The Bible is part of some culture. So I told the American teacher, and he was very happy to hear about that. And I expressed my desire to read the Bible. But at that time, it was about 1987, 88. And the foreigners was bidding to spread the Christianity in China. So the teacher gave me one book. It was a Chinese and an English version of Bible. So very happy and read it because this is Chinese and English, so I could read in Chinese. When I read a sentence, says, love your enemies like love your neighbor. I was shocked because in those years, we were educated by the Communist Party. They say, hate your enemies. You should kill your enemies and you fight with the enemies. So it was my first time heard Jesus said, love your enemies. I was shocked. I think that's a totally different ideas with what we were taught about it. Then when I come to Australia in 1990, I visit some churches and read more Bibles, and as to keep this impression, this idea in my mind, is love your enemies. Even if I know it was very hard for last 2,000 years, not many people really did what Jesus said. That's why in the human history, there's a lot of killings, wars. So I keep this idea until there was a man called Liu Xiaobo. He was locked up in China, and he won a Nobel Peace Prize. Of course, he couldn't go, and he eventually died in the jail. But for his speech in writing to read at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony, he wrote down is that he had no enemies. That's another very important thinking. He had no enemies. Even if the Chinese government think he was an enemy, and he tried to make China become more democracy, and the government think he was funding people to turn over the government. At least his thinking was different with most of people. It's peaceful. I can say it's good, but he wasn't well accepted by most of the people. I could understand him. Then about 10 years ago, I was keep thinking, what's the meaning of the enemy? According to normal definition, enemy is people hate each other too hard, and they want to kill each other because they cannot live under the same sky. Then I thought human beings came from the same family. We all come from Africa. The time passed too long. The people spread to different continents, set up different countries. Then for some reason, some want to be survive, some want to get more power, some want to get more interest, or some have some ideology differences and belief differences. They fought each other, and they started wars and kill each other, and they declared each other as enemies. But I thought sometimes they become enemies, but sometimes they become friends. Again, in the modern history, like Japan was an enemy to China, to USA, but after they surrender, they become a friend of America. So the enemy can be friend. Friend can turn to enemies. I thought deeply, and I realized human beings haven't enemies at all. The so-called enemies were made of misunderstanding. For those ideology differences, such as religions, they are misunderstanding each other. They should communicate better and make peace before they become enemy. Even if for those people want and grab interest, like land, people, or material, whatever, it still can negotiate each other and talk each other and communicate well and sort out the differences. In nowadays, there's more organizations can go between, such like EU, UN, United Nations is a good place to make peace. Also can keep peace. According to my another finding, human beings haven't evolved to the mature stage. That's true, and the idea human beings haven't enemies maybe is advanced than the times, but we also should keep in mind we all human beings are brothers and sisters, are relatives. We shouldn't fight each other. Everything can be sorted out by negotiating, communication. So I hope this idea can be used, can be accepted by the whole world, and to be used in practice. If we use in practice, there will be less quarrel, less fighting, less war. After many generations, eventually there's no more war, no more enemies. Please share this idea to the world. We all should contribute something to the world, since we are come to this world by chance. The chance was very slim, and we will leave this world sooner or later. So before we leave this world, we should spread some good ideas for others and other generations. Thank you for watching.